Good morning. My name is Peggy Tharp. I'm a lifelong member of the San Angelo community and a constituent of Mr. Silva's. And I'm concerned about the possibility, or the probability of establishing a sand depot on North Bryant, or just off North Bryant, on the edge of two residential communities. I understand that you all don't have jurisdiction because the zoning is already in place, but in the interest of community planning and so forth, I would really like, if at all possible, to slow this project down. It kind of came in under the radar. People in the community, and particularly people in the neighborhoods, have not had much time to talk about it. It's going to alter the quality of life for those who live in the general vicinity. I live over by the base and work on 39th Street, and so I used to drive down Hugh Street going to work every morning and coming home after lunch. I no longer do that because the dust is so bad that sometimes when the wind is blowing, visibility is practically impossible. I can't imagine living next door to that kind of environment. I also live in a neighborhood where our two exit routes are South Bell Street and Avenue L, and I think the traffic involved in moving trucks and trains in and out of this area all day and over on Hugh Street all night sometimes is a serious problem for folks who live on that end of town. And I would appreciate you all doing anything you can do to slow it down and let us at least think about it before it happens.
Thank you, ma'am. Duly noted. And I suppose probably every one of us have got a few calls on this. So, Jesse. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. My name is Jesse Martinez, and I, too, am here to voice my opposition to this fracking and sanding facility. Not necessarily the business venture, but the location of this venture. I realize that this issue has not come before the council, but it will. You know that it's coming. And I do not represent any organization, but I do speak for many, many of my neighbors. We do have some reasons for opposition. Our primary concern, as briefly mentioned a while ago, is one of health and safety. For sure, there will be pollutants coming from this fracking sand. They will be into the air that we breathe. I do live just one block from this proposed facility. And so our concern is that these pollutants will be or exacerbate the health issues of some of our children, maybe our seniors, who already are suffering from respiratory or cardio obstruction issues. So we want to make sure that these pollutants, chemicals, and toxins aren't in the air causing these types of serious problems. I also urge the council, if this, as this process moves forward, to contact the Environmental Protection Agency to conduct a study of air quality control to make sure that the air quality standards are not being violated, because I believe that they may be and will be. And I think that this council has an obligation to make sure that the pollutants caused by this fracking sand will not harm our citizens. Our secondary concern, of course, is the increase in heavy truck traffic. It's not right to have 18-wheelers coming down narrow neighborhood streets. This is what will happen. These 18-wheelers will roll down Avenue H, which is where I live, 10 feet from my front yard. This is inviting tragedy, and I don't think that this council wants that to occur. Our third concern, of course, is the protection of our homes. I live in a very modest neighborhood. We don't have many two-story buildings or brick homes, but we are proud of our neighborhood. We value our homes. We, again, want to have assurances from the air quality control that the blowing sand will not harm our vegetation or even do harm to our homes, which I think it will be the case. So that we want some assurances that this is not going to happen. And I don't think that this council would be in favor of further deterioration and depreciation of our property and our homes, which this neighborhood, by the way, has been around since the 1950s. This is where I grew up. So this plant wants to profit and disregard the collateral damage that will happen. We have no problem with the enterprise. We have no problem with the business itself. As a matter of fact, we're pro-business. Our opposition is the location. And if the business premise is based on, we believe, on greed, then that's evil. And the love of money, we know, is evil. So the proposal site, therefore, is evil. And in closing, I know that this issue is going to require legal answers. But these legal answers should be reconciled with moral standards. And all I ask the council as this issue comes forward is that you listen to your conscience. And in that, your conscience will reveal your moral character. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. That was not poquito. Yes, ma'am.
May I, for those that are not going to be here at the end of our meeting when we set future agenda items, I had already decided to place on the agenda for our next meeting for council to review the definition of light manufacturing and heavy manufacturing so that we could look at these issues from the legal standpoint. And that's about all I can say at this time.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Ms. Laura. Very well said.